Well, don't say we don't give you any cheery news on this show, because it's also been a horrendous start to the year for the hospitality industry, with a raft of restaurants forced to shut their doors and grave fears many more will follow. No business is immune, with even a number of high-end dining options succumbing to the same fate. That includes London's Copper and Ink restaurant, formerly owned by former MasterChef finalist Tony Rod. I should say formerly owned, currently owned, but sadly not for much longer. Tony, sorry to hear about this. Must have been a terribly difficult decision for you to close.
Thanks, Rosanna. Yes, very difficult decision for us. Something we fought for and are devastated to have had to announce, but unfortunately, just succumb to the current circumstances that a lot of us in the industry are suffering from.
Talk to us a bit about what those circumstances are. I mean, I can imagine it's high energy costs. A lot of us have been feeling that as well, and inflation. What does that mean when you're running a restaurant?
I think we're in this weird position where we're facing everything that's expensive from both sides. So from a business perspective, our energy bills have gone up by about £1,000 a week, which is roughly about 300% for us. But on top of that, the inflation that's affecting food and drink, and often that is linked to specifically the energy prices, has made us feeding our guests very, very expensive. We've still got regular overheads such as VAT, and the likes that cost us an absolute fortune. But then the other issue with that is our diners have got less money to spend with us in the restaurant, because they're suffering the same things that we are. Increased mortgages and rents because of their interest rates, increased food bills because their shopping has gone up considerably, and then their energy bills, their petrol and things like that, which just means there's less money going out into the industry. So we're very much between a rock and a hard place. We're being squeezed. And sadly, it's meant that this week alone, we've seen at least 24 restaurants close their doors. And in the worst month of the year, we're going to see a lot more.
No, it's terrible to learn about. I mean, Simon Rimmer's Greens in Manchester for one, James Alcock's Pig and Whistle as well, to name some top names here in the UK. It sounds like it's industry-wide at all levels. So what really needs to change? You talked there about VAT. We've often spoken to Manchester's nightlife tsar, Sacha Lord, on this show. He's talked about VAT reduction and business rates freeze. Is there something the government can do to help?
Absolutely. So Sacha Lord, Andy Burnham, Andy Lennox, and many others, we've all been campaigning for a reduction in VAT for probably the last 18 months. And it's a very quick fix for the government. This is something that we've been shouting at for a long time. We had it in COVID, and it saved our industry for a very short period. But a reduction in VAT would save a lot of our businesses from going under. Add to that just regulation for the energy bills, because again, my energy bill went up nearly 300% this year, and you just can't sustain that as a small business, as an independent business. So if we can first of all address that, secondly energy bills, that will go a long way to save the industry. But we also need to really help the public, because if people don't have that spending money, then really they just can't afford to keep on coming out and supporting the industry. So let's address energy bills for the public. Let's allow people to get mortgages and rents that are more in line with where we are as a country right now. Let us have a better interest rate, and let us break our contracts mid-contract without penalty. And I think that as a whole, our high streets won't be as badly damaged as they currently are being.
300% is absolutely extraordinary. Look, just briefly, what are you going to do now that you're closing the restaurant?
Honestly, my wife and I, we've run the business for 5 years. We've been part of our local community for a long time, so we're having to decide what that next step is, and it's a really difficult decision. We're taking a little bit of time just to go through the fallout, come to terms with everything, but we've got mortgages to pay, so we need to work out that next step. Whatever it is, it's within hospitality. We love this industry, and we want to support the community, and we want to support the wider industry, which is why we're on telly now. For us, let's just keep cooking and try and make people happy with our food.
We'll wish you the best of luck with that. Tony Rod, thanks so much for joining us.